This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Today's Tuesday, so we're doing a top 5 list. As I always say these days, you've seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, so you know what I'm going to be talking about. The topic under discussion today, in case you've managed to click on the video without seeing the thumbnail or reading the title, are basically the 5 things that any aspiring guitarist should kind of consider milestones, things that they need to achieve if they want to go somewhere with the instrument, if they just want to be the kind of player who has a family sing-song round the campfire, or whether they want to go and form a band, whatever. These are the essential things that you need to kind of check off your list, starting with
bar chords.
Bar chords, yeah. The steepest, I would say, part of the learning curve when it comes to playing the guitar. The transition from not being able to play a bar chord to being able to play a bar chord just seems to take forever, and it's very, very easy to get disheartened. The reason for that is because it's a combination of two elements. You've got to get the technique right, and you've got to have the requisite strength. The technique can be learned relatively quickly, and you're doing it right, but it's still not sounding right because the strength hasn't developed yet. There's that sort of lag period, that no man's land, where you're doing everything right, but it still doesn't sound right. And that's where the frustration can set in. You start getting disheartened. You maybe start looking for kind of hacks and cheats to kind of speed things up a bit. It never works. Okay, I might do a video on bar chords at some point. I've done it in the past, but it's perhaps worth a revisit. If you go past any second-hand shop or pawn shop window and you see a guitar in there, typically maybe a Squire Strat or some entry-level acoustic, I'll guarantee that the reason that guitar is in that shop window is because the person has given up because of bar chords. That's often the case. That's the trajectory that often happens. So yeah, you've got to get bar chords sorted, and just look at it this way: nothing else you ever learn to do on the guitar will ever be as difficult as that again. Bar chords, get them get them mastered, and you're basically you're going to start flying after that. Next,
keeping in time.
Keeping in time. There was a famous picture that was in, was it Sounds or some part of the music press, where it was basically, I think, 3 chord diagrams. Said, here is a chord, here is another, now form a band. It was part of that whole late 70s punk ethic kind of thing. And yeah, I'll go along with that, playing in time. But nothing gets you playing in time better than playing with other musicians, so forming a band. But in my experience, when I've got people coming to me for lessons who have seen a few chord shapes, maybe a friend has shown them some chord shapes, maybe they've been on any of the number of guitar-related websites where there's songs, and the way songs get written out, and this is a personal bugbear of mine, where it's just the lyrics of the songs and the chord changes over a particular word or syllable of a word. What's that telling you about the rhythm? Absolutely nothing. I think many guitar players who are showing a novice guitarist who's a friend of theirs, or somebody, like father teaching son some guitar chords, or, kind of older brother teaching younger brother some chords on the guitar. Because the strumming and the rhythm side of things has to become such a second nature intuitive thing that you don't think about, it often gets overlooked when you're passing that information on because, that just takes care of itself. It doesn't. You need to get the rhythm side of things down absolutely nailed, because if you don't, you're going to struggle. As I say, I've got many students who are on that path at the moment where they can do the chord changes perfectly, but staying in time with a metronome or some kind of drum rhythm or something is something that they've never done before. Consequently, there's that famous scene in Father Ted where they're singing the song "My Lovely Horse." Yeah, Google it or watch it on YouTube. That's something that as a guitar teacher I have to take corrective action over a lot. So it's an important thing. Learn to play in time. It sounds basic, but it often gets overlooked. Next.
Playing from memory.
You go to a gig and you're looking at the musicians on stage. How many music stands do you usually see? Exactly. You need to be able to play it from memory. You need some way of memorizing the song. And in the 90s, I used to find that, fledgling guitar players, beginners, would have a tab book of their favourite album, okay? And the song would be, kind of take maybe 6 or 7 pages across that book. So that's 6 or 7 pages of A4 containing information that you need to memorise. It seems like that's a big ask. In reality, the way that, certainly the way I've always done this, and the way that every musician I've ever worked with, kind of memorises a song, is you break it down into lumps: a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a middle eight, an intro, whatever, and you memorise those things, and then you just screw them all together and go through that running order. Okay, there is obviously an advantage if you understand what you're playing. It's like if I was to say, "The cat sat on," if you understand the structure of the English language, then you know that the next 2 words are the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The sort of grammar and syntax of language can be, can be reflected in music as well. It too has some sort of grammatical structure where things need to appear in a certain order. And if you understand that, it makes it easier to play from memory. And that leads me on to the next point.
Rudimentary theory knowledge.
Yes, some rudimentary theory knowledge. Nothing, it seems, causes the hackles of a certain type of guitarist to get raised more than suggesting that they learn some music theory. They immediately think that they are going to, kind of stop enjoying their kind of raggedy rock and roll kind of music and develop a penchant for chin stroking progressive rock and jazz. I'm not talking about understanding what scale is going to work over a dominant 13 flat 9 chord. It's basically the Super Locrian scale, but you don't need to know that. That's not the level of theory I'm talking about. What I'm referring to is just understanding what, going back to bar chords again, what chords you get as you move that shape up the neck, understanding which chords go together and will be likely to be encountered together in a song. So a little bit of rudimentary key knowledge. Whether or not you understand the textbook jargon that goes with it is immaterial. In fact, what I would say is just learn the brass tacks, practical aspects of it first, and worry about the textbook theory kind of terminology later. It's much better to kind of get an understanding of what you're doing and how it works and how it all kind of dovetails together, and then think, okay, so that's called modal interchange, or that's called the Dorian mode, or that's called the circle of fifths. And add the tags, add the kind of definitions to it later, rather than starting off with those define terms and then trying to figure out what they mean and puzzle through it like that, which is, I think, often the way it's taught, and that can, put a lot of people off because it just seems like a lot of heavy lifting to do. So yes, basically understand what you're doing, and it means that not only will you be able to play from memory a lot easier, but you will be able to figure stuff out easier. If you know that C, A minor, F, well, what's the other chord that you're going to see alongside that? Well, it's G. So if you have that level, that you're going to know it's not F sharp that comes after the F chord. Just rudimentary theory knowledge like that, a little bit goes a long way, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you turn a blind eye to that. Next.
Tuning by ear.
Yes, I'm guilty of it. I use a clip-on tuner to tune the guitar all the time. Although I don't use it when I'm restringing. I've got a few guitars in here, and if I know the Les Paul is in tune and I'm restringing the PRS, then I'll just pluck the E string on the Les Paul and then just tune the PRS to that and basically go from there, and then I'll kind of get it accurately in using the tuner. I've been doing this job over 30 years now, and in 1991 when I started, electronic tuners were available. They were a thing, but they weren't as, I mean, now you can get a free app on your phone that you can use to tune your guitar. They were a bit more of a considered purchase back then. They weren't ridiculously cheap or even free like they are now. So a lot of people just did it the old school way, tune it by ear, get the sixth string in tune to some reference like a pitch pipe or a tuning fork or something, and then go to the fifth fret on the sixth string to get the fifth string note to tune to, go to the fifth fret on the fifth string to get the fourth string, and so on. What that does is it teaches you a little bit of fretboard knowledge, because you immediately kind of just know that the fifth fret on the fourth string is a G note. Okay, so you're starting to identify notes on the neck a little bit more just by tuning up by ear. And the thing that I have noticed over the past 30 years, however long it's been, is that people who have relied on this thing here or something similar often have more of a struggle when it comes to bending strings. Okay, because what you're doing when you're bending a string is you are temporarily retuning that string to a higher pitch. Well, if you've got the ear for that, for that kind of being able to tell when something is in tune or not, because you've been tuning up by ear for a little while, then that makes string bending easier. It also makes figuring songs out by ear easier, because every time you tune up, you are kind of doing a little bit of ear training practice. So yeah, tune up by ear. Learn to do it just as a sort of backstop in case your battery runs down on your tuner, or whatever, for any kind of reasons why you might forget your tuner when you go to a gig or whatever. So it's a good backup plan, but it also brings along with it other benefits as well, as I've just described. And those are the 5 milestones that I would recommend for any novice, fledgling, beginner guitar player. Please let me know if you think I've missed any. Leave those down in the comments, and let me know what you think of my list, especially the theory knowledge thing. That usually, there's usually some opinions, shall we say, anytime I mention the importance of music theory. Put it all down in the comments. But that's it for today, folks. Hope you found this video useful, informative, and hopefully a little bit entertaining. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and many, many other things. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.